Warning: this podcast contains strong language and viewer discretion is advised. The views and opinions of the host and their guests may be made in jest, but the mistakes made by plumbers that are portrayed and discussed in this podcast are serious.
G'day and welcome to episode 5 of Gripes with Grumpy. Today we've got an esteemed guest from down in the Eastern Cape, and he certainly is one of those legends, if we can call it that, in the plumbing industry. I think we're going to learn some choice words from our colleague down in the Eastern Cape. So, Adriaan, welcome.
Thank you, Steve. Great to be here. Looking forward to what you guys are dishing up here.
Dishing up. This is the way that you are there. I thought you're like a fucking flight controller or something.
I told you earlier, if I close my eyes and move my arms, I'm about to start singing. So just let it go.
Okay. All right. So you've got it on something else. So you're listening to something else while we talk about cut plumbing. So Adriaan, welcome and thank you very much for joining us today. You know how the show goes. It's a bit of fun, a little bit of what could they have done better? What can we learn from this? And obviously, just have a bit of a laugh and also, go into the seriousness of what the implications of some of these installations that we see and where we go to from here. What could the guy have done or the plumber have done and where we are. But a bit about yourself. Adriaan, you've been around for a long time. I don't think there's too many that don't know of you or have met you. So just a little bit about you, Adriaan.
Yeah, I always feel bad when it comes to this, but yeah, but yeah,
we feel fuckful.
There's a lot of stuff.
We just got to get to.
Okay, so
just keep going.
Okay, so basically, been in plumbing for 38 years. Currently hold the master plumber designation. Involved with a whole lot of institutions, organizations, etc. Some of them voluntary, some of them I get forced into, like earning a living. That'll change at the end of the year. So yes, looking forward to it. Been able to learn quite a bit from various people as far as material standards, etc. But most of it's too serious to discuss on this type of show. So yes, I've been involved with plumbing for a bit. But yeah, looking forward to the next chapter, getting involved with the actual contractors, members, apprentices, especially trying to get to teach them one or two extra or new things, and then we'll see how it goes from there.
Wonderful. All right, and I believe you've sent some choice pictures that Willem has that we're going to discuss in great length and detail. Willem, let's have a go at the first one. Oh, here we go, Adriaan.
That's a beauty.
Yeah.
Work forces me to travel, so you'll find a whole lot of these pictures I take on the fly. It'll be with a cell phone in hand all over the country. So some of them I can't even remember where I took them. But yeah, this looks like a saving expedition, or maybe one hole to fit everything into. It's difficult to believe someone could actually come up with that.
But Adriaan, what we got, a waste pipe on the left-hand side there? What's it coming down from, a basin? I can only assume, or
yep,
it could be anything from there.
But
it looks like it's got a backfall, unless you were sitting on your hands and knees praying that something would come right here. But I don't know what the fucking hell.
No, you're actually 100%. That waste has got a backfall. It picks up from the toilet next door. So you've got a basin coming in from the top. And then the other branch of that junction picks up the basin from next door. So you can see there's another bit of space. I probably found that the hole that was chopped is size fit for the 4-inch, and then they squeeze the 50 under that. So yeah, it's just, in general, when you walk into a toilet, you feel like dropping something.
Because he put an extra socket on the pan there, because I see he was a little bit short there, and he decided, I'm going to fix this, connecting it to the pan collar.
Yeah, I've seen them heat up pipes. I've seen them do various types of things. The the point is that when you walk into a cubicle like this, you feel like dropping something, and it's not necessarily your pants that you're gonna drop. So it's like,
But look, let's give him credit. He used IEs.
yes, he did.
At least you
But if
can
you look
get
at the if you look at the hole, I'm not sure if the hole was chopped too high. If you look at the toilet coming in from the right hand side, it's got a backfall of its own going into that junction together with a backfall on the 50 mm pipe. So I think they all work towards the same hole. There was an existing hole or something, and everything just went. I wouldn't even want to know what the toilet next door looked like. It was the ladies' cubicle, so I wasn't going to walk in there.
Yeah, but the frustrating thing is, Adriaan, if the individual had to think about this in terms of the design, and we don't have the whole picture, but certainly, a little bit of effort, a little bit of thought, even in terms of the design, like you're saying, we're not looking at what's behind that or whatever, but the logic would have been, could that pipe have gone directly out? Why the junction? Even putting the IE junction to try and get access to that, you jammed up against the 50 mm. And that always amazes me about drainage piping, where the guy will go and put an IE squashed up against the corner, and you think to yourself, what the fuck? What is the purpose?
Yeah.
Logic
you
just
can't
does
even
not
get your
prevail.
hand in there. Can't even get your hand in there or loosen the IE for that matter without slamming into the wall. It's difficult to understand how someone would get to that. Chances are it's probably a cheaper version of what was quoted on. Maybe there was a plumber there. No disrespect to pipe fitters, because I recognize the fact that there are tradespeople that are called pipe fitters, but some of them tend to dwell into plumbing, and then you end up getting confused between just putting a T-piece or putting something in there. And it just, when you look at it and you flush the toilet and you hear these gargling and funny noises and that, and you imagine you sitting in the toilet next door and someone flushes and you end up with a backwash or something. It's just weird.
Yeah, and it happens, and we've seen it. And then you'll find the client gets, phoning up, the plumber going out there every week to clear a blockage, and nobody looks at the fucking problem and goes, hold on. When I look at that pan, it's clear that they chopped it. You can see the base and everything else, so there was like Murum 8 and Situm near, and that's basically where they are,
It's amazing what you can pick up on YouTube.
Clearly not how to identify and create a fall, but anyway, let's go and have a look at the next one, Willem.
So when you look at this mess, you can understand, and look, I've got very little sympathy for architectural professionals, but when you look at pipe work like that, you can understand why the client says, I don't want to see pipes. This is like your main entrance to your warehouse, and this is what it all looks like. Scary. But
how often do we see this, Adriaan? I mean, it happens everywhere. The amount of thought that goes into the design of a building, and then you come up with this, it's shocking. It really is, in terms of the design, how it's all been put together. Is that the great saddles that have been used there, Adriaan, as well?
Yes, there are a number of issues here. Mainly, I can't understand why. Maybe if it was done in underground UG pipe or something to match the bricks, it wouldn't have been that obvious. But someone decided to highlight it. It's like making it worse than what it was before. So if you missed it, we'll highlight it so you can see it better. So that solves a number of issues.
It's quite comical that we go to that length. And I'll tell you what, they've done a better job of the painting than the plumbing did.
That's different.
It might have been the painter that did the job.
Yeah, the scary bit is, if you look at both sides of that door there, we're looking at a vent valve on a single stack. We're looking at interconnections. We're looking at connections on the horizontal. There's probably 10 or 15 different things you could pick up other than the paint. I mean, like you say, the painter probably did the pipe work, and then he decided to camouflage it so it wouldn't look that obvious. But it's scary, and you have to have sympathy now if that owner of that premises now wants to develop a new building, or he's putting up a new building. The first thing he'll tell the architect is, I don't want to see pipes. Hide them, put them in the cavity, put them wherever, but don't put them where people can see them. It's actually scary.
Here we go, Adriaan.
So next to the front door, you can see the front entrance right at the bottom there. You can see the front entrance. So every time you come home as a homeowner or as the homeowner, or you bring your friends over or family come over, that's what they've got to look at. What actually caught my eye first was the dugger. When the way they patched the bricks, they didn't even put any bricks back. They just left it with the dugger. And then I looked at the pipes and I thought the plumber left him very little option or very little possibilities other than
you more likely find he just looks on that thing with a hammer and chisel with a rough idea. You know, that pipe, it's gonna go here somewhere. I mean, that pan seems to have moved about 3 times. It looks like a jigsaw puzzle or one of those Jenga things that they put together. But yes,
when I was an apprentice and we did work at these old government buildings and schools, we had builders that used to tell us that a plumber is a very lazy person. He doesn't walk around to the outside. He chops a sliding door so he could work through the wall. So I looked at this as probably the same thing. You'd be able to stick your arm or half of your toolbox out there and just work your way around it. But once again, you can see it's just it's like a general confusion. You know, everything's got to drain into one point, but you tend to lose track, and then you just draw lines and interconnect and work your way around that. So yeah, it's a bit of a and the sad bit is once again,
we've discussed this before. Yeah, we've discussed this before, though. You know, again, there's so many checks and balances that should be in place that this doesn't occur. Not to say that the pipes won't be there, but the way in which they are done. And in terms of compliance with the relevant standards, in terms of how they should be done. But this seems to be a recurring episode. You know, wherever we talk drainage, I think we had Gerry last time venting about vents, and it just seems to be that no matter how much communication goes through, how much the plumber raises his voice in terms of non-compliance, and yet it just seems to just carry forward. It's just like nobody seems to learn from it.
The irony in this whole thing is both the one with the black pipe work and the last one is that if you had installed a decent single stack left or right of that opening, and you had short little pieces running horizontally, the branches into that single stack, it would have looked 10 times better. It wouldn't have been offensive to anyone. Now you've got this horizontal picking up things, etc., etc. So you're actually making the pipes worse and far more visible, or you're highlighting more of the pipe work than simply putting a single stack either side and disappearing to the side, and no one would have worried about it. So it's just a general layout thing. And you know what, we do quite a bit of training, like you say. We do installers training, we do webinars, we do all these things here. And even if you look at that, those installations there, the irony is that if you put a single pipe and you connect in there, 9 out of 10 times you'll be saving fittings rather than putting extra fittings and junctions, etc., etc. So yeah, it's instead of saving money and checking before you pull away, or you do a single stack, then you realize there's a window and you try and offset this whole thing, and the more fittings you use, the more the mooring the owner gets, the architect gets blamed, and next thing you'll see there's a screen wall or a box being built over everything, and then the plumber complains about access.
At least the conversation's gone downhill. It's a lot. I can't say anything about this lot. It's going. Here we go. Adriaan, how often do we see this? You know, where there's definitely a challenge here. I don't know what they had there before, but I mean, to have, I don't even know what to say here. I mean, they've obviously clearly replumbed. We've got a bit of composite pipe there. I couldn't find a flush pipe rubber bung, so it looks like he's just used a bit of Prattley's or putty in there, and then we get to the grand finale. That is scarier.
You know what, these things, I don't know whether the guys are making enough money off these things or what they're doing. We find them on underground drainage, where the guys have actually dug up drainage and they found the drain rod having stuck through the sides here. I've got a couple of nice ones where the actual plastic had been burnt away because someone in the house that was cleaning pots and pans and that took hot oil and chucked it down the drain, and it actually melted the plastic, so it looked like an old telephone wire on the outside. Yeah, it's almost like a strap-on saddle, these things. It gives pipe fitters it gives them that false impression that, you know what, you can do plumbing in just about every, or you can get from point A to point B whichever way you look at it. So yeah, it becomes, some of them become these elongated traps, like a half a meter long trap behind the toilet. So you've got a P trap and another like a siphon behind the toilet before you get to the stack. It's just, but like you say, the guys, I don't know if it's like.
But logic goes, and I know, I think Marius, sent me this one. Logic is not a flower that grows in every garden, but for fuck's sake, the Labrador walking into that bathroom with a guy with a stick would clearly identify that there's a problem there, and whether, when you look at this, and it was clearly not a plumber that did this job, and this is where we get into this thing, and you talk about these individuals that sort of trade in the plumbing sector that aren't, but that type of job, Adriaan, we see it, they clearly available, and as you've said, we found them in the drains, we found everywhere, they just keep popping up.
And I see we get similar types of traps, etc. as well. So you can actually, from the waste, you can move to the outlet with this flexible, looks like a creepy crawly pipe, and this thing just flexes around the pots and pans and what have you not. And then you get the call to site to say that the whole place smells of crap. And then when you open the cupboard, you see there's not even a trap. It's just this connection.
Yeah,
it's something that runs to the, it's like, it doesn't happen.
But when you look at that, Adriaan, and I know I'm slightly older than you are, but when you go back and you have a look at how things were done, the checks and balances, the heights, the measuring, and everything else, there was no requirement for that. I mean, if you were working as you were, those measurements and how the attention to detail in terms of centers, heights, floor level screeds, those allowances, you didn't need that. But it would just appear that plumbing got so much easier, and it's like you say, there's just plug and play, and you've got your creepy crawly pipe, and it's an amazing multi-tool to use, or a multi-fitting if you want to call it that. But it is shocking. It is shocking.
It's almost a fit for all purposes thing, because if you want to move sideways, I've seen some of those where the plumbers have actually taken a side cutters and cut the wires and put a 50 pipe in there to change it into a saddle behind the toilet type of thing. So look, once you're on that slippery slope and you go, it's like,
you start going.
It's like brandy, there's no brakes, it just keeps going.
Just keep going. Well, hopefully you've got something better, in terms of where we are now. So Willem, let's have a look at the next masterpiece that Adriaan's brought. Oh, yeah. Adriaan. Yeah.
It's partial design, partial common sense, partial. There's a whole lot of things that have just gone wrong here. The question you always ask is, once that concrete is cast, from the two toilets, top and right hand side, how do you get access? Then it drops down through the slab into what they call the duct. So you've got about 6 or 7 changes of direction with no access, etc., etc. But can you imagine a Friday afternoon call out and the lady says, I've got this blocked shower or a blocked bath, and you go there thinking, this is like 20 minutes, half an hour, quick cash before the weekend starts, and you walk into this thing and there's nothing. You don't see an eye, you don't see anything. It's just tiles, and normally they end up putting these like 900 by 900 porcelain imported stuff all over it. So the first thing when you touch a hammer and chisel, the owner looks at you with these big eyes and you go, there's going to be shit here if you break this. So you're stuck. And let's face it, it happens when it comes to designs where the architect and the engineer and the homeowner basically goes, Mr. Plumber, we want a toilet here. You tell us how we're going to get to the outside.
But even to create a proper fall on those things, I mean, you're not going to get it within the rebar. There's no access to it. I sometimes question, the strength of the slab around what gets taken up by the pipe actually. I mean, I'm not an engineer, but, I've seen decks like that where you've got 110 pipe running all over the place, sometimes side by side. and you think the integrity of that slab, how was that taken up in terms of that allowance for that pipe over that straight line, where, what, and how? But you're quite correct. We've all had one of those Friday afternoons.
sure.
Hey, let's go fucking hit this job quickly. Where your mate, you just sat down and the mate goes, "No, I'll come with you." And he's got your mate after 4 hours later, where you're sitting there trying to figure that out. So, but how does it get passed? So, Adriaan, from an engineering point of view, from local authorities, who passes that?
That's
the challenge that we would sit here and say somebody had to tick that box. That engineered the rational design or the irrational design of that installation. I mean, it's on him, but the plumber in himself should have been saying, "I can't do this stuff."
Steve, we're talking funnies here and we're talking hassles here, but the reality of that last slide or that last picture is that when it comes to supervision, whether it be the plumber supervising his guys on site, remember, one of the big issues that we do have, and we see it regularly, is you'll find that a major consulting firm might have an office in Joburg or in Cape Town, but they work in Quebec or in PE, or they're busy in KZN, but the designer's in Bloemfontein. So they're not going to fly down there for X, Y, and Z. So they basically passing the buck to, let's call it the clerk of works, or the clerk of works will tell the plumber, "You've been doing plumbing for 40 years. I don't know anything. Are you happy with this?" And they all go, yeah. So like they agree. And then when it comes time to sign off, the local authority going to shrug their shoulders and say, "There's a Form 2, there's a competent person. That person must now submit to us a letter." That poor sod was in Bloemfontein, in Cape Town, wherever, 1,000 kilometers away from where the job was being done, and he simply signs a letter because as soon as they get that letter, he gets paid, his contractors get paid, and everybody goes, "Yep, we've got this thing covered," until the problems start occurring. And when you mention basic access or ready access,
I mean, those problems, you can test. We've all been there. You test your work, it functions, you flush, whatever. But now it starts, occupancy, more people in there. And I think I worked on one, not worked on one, but we got involved from an IOPSA perspective for one up in Bleecker, which was exactly the same thing. And now it's like, who's responsible, who signed it off? And the plumber was the meter. He was literally getting screwed from left to right. And he's trying to rectify and do whatever he can, but he followed that sort of rational design that was there. But the consequences to him in terms of the design and everything else was terrible.
But if you recall, when we did that all things construction, the first 5 or 6 sessions all went along the lines of, you get a bill of quantity. Designing that system is not part of what you do. So when you look at these things in general, and the guys that we all try to be that person that helps, you end up being helpful. You try and solve this. You try and resort to all kinds of measures. As long as the client's happy, you might get more work from them. So it becomes like you like that people pleaser. But when the shit hits the fan, you're going to be by yourself, and no one is going to come up. And then your PR insurance is going to go, "But hold on a second, your thing says plumbing. It doesn't say design. It doesn't say engineering. It doesn't say anything." So you end up with all these weird and wonderful hassles. But to me, the biggest thing is that it's always, and I say always, let's call it generally, but generally always, the contractor, the plumber, the guy like me and you that gets nailed. Because somewhere along the line, someone with some form of an education, sometimes it's just what do they call it, acknowledged by your peers as having knowledge of whatever. He might not even have an engineering degree. He goes, "Man, I'm telling you to do this. We've done it in Cape Town." If you talk to the guys in Cape Town, they go, "Where?" So they say, "Oh, we've done it in Durban." And the guys go, "Okay, but where?" And then your guys will say, that we don't. So it's always somewhere else where it was successful until that point where you say, "Okay, but show me." And when you show me and you've got nothing, then it becomes a real shit show.
That's what we keep saying, Adriaan, and you mentioned that all things construction is that, and and sometimes the plumber, I keep saying that the salt of the earth, they want to solve everybody's problems, they want to be that guy, the go-to guy, but sometimes that can be a very detrimental to ourselves, in terms of getting involved in stuff that we shouldn't be involved in, but putting it in such a way that, ma'am, sir, whatever, this is not my role. I'll sort out whatever needs to be done, but I need an instruction from somebody else. I can't design this. And I mean, I had one last week, similar type of thing. Plumber being pressurized into doing stuff that he is not competent to do. And the repercussions to him, had he gone forward, would be immense, when it starts getting into, that domain, stay away from it, keep yourself covered.
I think one of the biggest kick in the nuts plumbers give themselves all the time, scared of paperwork, scared of admin.
Yeah.
If my former boss used to say, it's not written, it's not said. So when the client agrees with you, yeah, no, do this, and I'm happy, I don't want to see this and this and this, on that day, everybody's happy. Then the auditor or the municipal inspector come, they say, no, we've got to chop this wall down, this is a problem. And the plumber or the client looks at the plumber going, you're the qualified plumber, how did you end up doing this? And then there's nothing to fall back on, and the only recourse available is aimed at the plumber. So it's we've taken it from what was supposed to be shits and giggles to something more serious. But like you said,
but let's give those oaks the middle finger. Let's just give them the middle finger for that. And then they can all learn from it. But it does. And as much as what we're saying, and it has gone a bit serious, but the reality is this shit happens every single day. Every single day there's somebody walking in, buying something, installing it incorrectly, or a plumber being pushed into a fucking corner that you will do this, and this is exactly how you say, it was done here and it was done there, and then he gets the repercussions 3 months, 6 months, whatever months later, and the poor all he wanted to do was just get the job done, get it. And then he starts paying the price. So, it's a good thing to learn, and it's a good thing that for us to emphasize the importance of that. Somebody said to me, if it's not in writing, it's not worth the paper it's written on. And that's really what it is. All this he said, she said stuff just does not work. But next one, Willem, or if we come to the end, is Adriaan brought all these cut pictures now.
One last one quickly, Steve, then we're done.
Right, wonderful. Saving the best for last, Adriaan.
No, I took the easy ones. I didn't want us to spend the whole afternoon looking at these things.
Here we go. Your mate's back.
Yeah.
Come on, Adriaan. This fucking okay, we got old cast iron, couldn't figure it out. Okay, let's just use a pan connector, turn it around the wrong way, and use our concertina. That is shit, eh?
I think we don't give enough. I'm not going to mention any merchants by name, but we don't give enough credit to the salespeople that we have in our industry. Let me tell you something. They could sell ice to an Eskimo, and if this was a weekend warrior, or this was a pipe fitter or a plumber, that salesman did his work. But you know what? That's where his responsibility stops. What you do with it afterwards, they'll claim it was not under their supervision, so you can't own up to any of that.
But Adriaan, I mean that's gives you a word for thought in terms of where, how, what, and why. It's just.
I think drainage is one of the topics, or one of the portions of plumbing that does not really get taken seriously. If it's watertight to a degree and water disappears from whatever fixture you're flushing, everybody's happy. If we had to spend the same time on drainage and what we did on water, where you're looking at manufacturers' warranties, you're looking at the way these things are pressure tested, the way that they're installed, the way that they've got to perform, then you'd find that drainage would be a different animal altogether. But as long as it's a simple case of I'm flushing it and that those sampan
That's
beans are
gone.
disappearing,
Yeah.
and whatever you're dumping in there's gone. Then you've done plumbing according to the rules of drainage,
Yeah.
and you've
As long
basically
as it gets
contributed.
outside your property and
That's
outside
it.
your
Yeah.
flat, it becomes somebody
What,
else's problem.
whatever,
That's it.
whatever happens,
Yeah.
and I think that's
Yeah.
one of
I
the
don't have a
biggest
problem in my flat. You got a problem in yours. No, no, no. And
That's
mine, when I flush, mine goes. I don't know where it goes to. Apparently, it's into your flat, but it's not my problem.
So if it crosses your boundary and it happens to run down a wall or a tree or something, that's on
Yeah.
you. That's all on you.
They're happy. They're happy with it. Well, Adriaan, I just want to thank you very much for today. It really is good chatting to you, bringing this to the fore, and just adding your unique value to the info that you brought us today, and to all our viewers and developing the team. Keep the info coming through. Who knows? Maybe you'll be able to get a pair of earphones like Adriaan's got there, and listening to his music. But to everyone, thank you very much to Willem and the team. We'll see you next time. Take care and have a great day.
Cheers, everyone.
Thank you, Adriaan.
Cheers.